Today, UFC 304 goes down this Saturday night in Manchester, and the question is, can Leon Edwards continue his reign at welterweight? What about Paddy Pimblett? Can Paddy Pimblett go out there and defeat King Green and show everyone that he is legit in his weight class? And then there's Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. Can Tommy Aspinall go out there, defeat Blades, and stake his claim as the rightful, true heavyweight champion? All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. It's your boy Matt. We here to break down UFC 304. Goes down live on pay-per-view in Manchester in the UK. And we're going to start out at the top of the card with the main event, as remember the name Belal Muhammad steps in the octagon to finally get his welterweight title shot against Leon Rocky Edwards. You're letting him bully your son. My guy, Leon Edwards. Bro, let's get into it. So, off the top, off the TOP, man, I'm going along with Leon Edwards to go out there and get the win. You know what I'm saying? I got Leon all day. I think Leon is truly shown each fight that he has after his win over Kamaru to get the belt. I feel like he has shown new levels each fight after to his game. He showed you in the third fight, the trilogy fight between him and Usman, that despite Usman now wanting his belt back, now Usman is out here primarily to wrestle and to try to rectify the mistake that he made at the end of the second fight. Leon showed that he can handle a top-tier wrestler like Usman. Leon went out there and showed that even though he was a shell of his former self, that he can go out there and handle what a Kobe Covington would bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Leon is out here showing different levels and layers to his game. So, with that being said, I really think Leon has the counter wrestling. He has the scramble ability and the takedown defense to be able to handle Belal Muhammad. And if he is taken down by Belal Muhammad, I believe that Belal Muhammad, in my opinion, he doesn't have the advantage as far as ground and pound, ground strikes, or submissions. He could definitely get Leon down to the ground. I'm not going to dispute that. But I don't feel that he has all of the skills in which, if he's going to keep Leon down, he's going to do major damage, score major points, and win the fight that way. So in my opinion, Leon Edwards has all the tools that he needs to be able to go out there and defeat Belal Muhammad. Now, Muhammad is no slouch, straight up, he's no slouch. But from what I saw in the first encounter between these two, I think Leon's got everything that he needs to defeat Belal Muhammad. So with that said, I got Leon Edwards to go out there and get the win in the main event of UFC 304 and continue his reign as their welterweight champion. And we would just see where he goes, after that. Is it Shavkat? I don't know, but we will see. Nevertheless, that's the main event. Let's move on to the co-main event. Tom Aspinall steps in the octagon to defend the interim heavyweight championship against Curtis Blades. So, again, I'm going to go along with Tom Aspinall. A lot of retention, a lot of retains on this card when you're talking about championships. I'm going along with Tom Aspinall. I think Tom Aspinall by far has shown that he is the more well-rounded fighter over Curtis Blades. He's also the more consistent fighter over Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades is that dude, though, at heavyweight. Let's not get it twisted. Curtis Blades has an interesting skill set. He's an extremely, extremely good and competent wrestler, especially at heavyweight. With that being said, Curtis Blades is kind of fluky on the feet. You know, sometimes he will catch you. He will rock you. He will send you to that other realm, you know, that shadow realm. And, you know, that's what he did with Jelton Almeida. So he's definitely no slouch on the feet, but he's not consistent on the feet. And at times, his shots that he lands on the feet almost seem like he more or less took advantage of his opponent not expecting Curtis Blades to strike with him. So he catches him off guard. And it's more of that than the technique that he displays to catch someone on the feet. With that being said, man, I think Tom is ready. I think Tom is ready on all fronts. I think Tom is the better striker standing. I think that Tom has the better ground game. Because from what you see from Curtis, you know, he's a really good wrestler. He's really good at getting his opponent down to the ground, using top pressure, and riding out the rest of that round. He's really good at ground and pound as well, but he's not known to ground and pound his opponents and get them out of there. Stop them via TKO or anything like that on the ground. He's more of a wrestler that will take you down, hold you down. He will land shots, short punches, you know, small elbows, different things like that on the ground, more or less to score points and ride out the rest of the round. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I think Tom has the better ground game. Tom can wrestle. Tom is good at grappling. Tom is as much scrambling as you're going to see among heavyweights. He's good at scrambles. I think he also has a good submission game. So, in my opinion, I think Tom Aspinall is an all-around better fighter, and he should win this fight against Curtis Blades. And then at that point, I guess you could say the ball is in Jon Jones' court. You know, it remains to be seen what Jon Jones is going to do. You know, I mean, I'm assuming you at least have to say he's going to come back and fight Stipe. I think that that's pretty solid. Nothing is really solid. Nothing is really signed and sealed with Jon Jones, as everyone knows. Because he could go out and have a wild night and we don't see him again. You know what I'm saying? He just got charged with more charges with the whole incident with the person that came to his home to take blood and urine samples, or at least urine samples for a drug test. So, I mean, you never know what's going to happen with Jon Jones. I feel like it's pretty much set that he's at least going to come back and fight Stipe. I don't know if he will ever set foot in the octagon with Tom Aspinall. I think the best thing Tom Aspinall can do is he has to go out there, whether it's club and sub, and he gets Blades out of there quickly like that, or he just goes out there and knocks him out. I feel like Tom has to do something monumental, something that gets everyone to notice. Okay, Tom is on deck. You know what I'm saying? Tom is right there. He's got to go out there and not shock everyone, but defeat Curtis Blades in a big, extravagant way. He just shouldn't go out there and get a 5-round decision over Blades, or just a regular 5-round domination. He needs to, if it's going to be a 5-round domination, he really has to, pour it on thick. You know what I'm saying? Like molasses on top of Curtis Blades, essentially. Like, he's going to have to do something wild and crazy because he needs to get everyone to take notice that put some respect on Tom Aspinall's name. I know Poatan is there and he's in the wings and he's trying to get something going to heavyweight, but Tom's really got to go out there and do that. So shout out to Tom Aspinall. I think Tom goes out there and gets the win. Next we have King Green, formerly King Bobby Green. King Green stepping in the octagon with Paddy Pimblett. On this one, my pick is Bobby Green. I think, while I will say, Bobby Green is getting a little bit older, and I think that his chin hasn't gone yet. I think him and his chin are in a good solid relationship, but you never know when Bobby Green could, stay out too late one night, might fraternize a little bit with somebody else, and his chin might serve him with walking papers. You know what I'm saying? His chin might head to divorce court and leave him. With that being said, I think him and his chin are still strong. But I think that day is coming for Bobby Green. With that being said, after seeing Paddy Pimblett's fight against Tony Ferguson, I gotta say I wasn't really impressed. I felt like it shouldn't have been that close between Paddy and Tony, given this level and this stage in Tony's career. And I felt like Bobby Green did not make it that close between him and Tony. So I think that Bobby Green is good enough. I think he has submission defense and wrestling defense, and he wrestles well enough to battle with Paddy on the ground. And so, in my opinion, if this stays standing, I think Bobby Green is going to be faster. By far, he's the more skilled striker on the feet. So I feel like if Paddy's got any ideas, any notions of keeping this standing and thinking that he's going to really pick off Bobby Green or King Green on the feet, I don't see that happening. So, I mean, by far, of course, I'm not saying anything that anybody else doesn't know. Paddy Pimblett's main tactic here is he needs to get this to the ground. Like, he needs to go out there, he needs to get this to the ground like his life depends on it. I mean, he needs to get this to the ground like somebody threw him, literally throws a bag of money, $1 million, if $1 million can fit in a bag. If they threw that in the middle of the octagon and said, you need to wrestle Bobby Green down, you need to submit him. Pimblett has got to have that type of urgency. All right, you do not want to play with Bobby Green on the feet. I saw the interview that Paddy Pimblett had with the MMA Guru. Shout out to MMA Guru, tremendous interview. If Paddy Pimblett, for me, he needs to have way more urgency that he's going to go out there and get Bobby Green king to the ground, straight up. I wouldn't try. He seems to be leaning more so that Bobby Green's chin has honestly already left him and has already hit the pub and moved on to a new man. But, bro, I wouldn't lean on that because your striking might not be the same. It might not be comparable to guys that you've seen knock out or literally rock the shoes off, if he was wearing shoes, of Bobby Green. Paddy Pimblett needs to get this fight to the ground. Nevertheless, I'm going along with King to go out there and get the win. Let's move on. We have Christian Leroy Duncan stepping in the octagon with RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez. This is going to be a hard one to call because I feel like at times, RoboCop doesn't lean into getting his opponents to the ground and relying on his strength and his grappling. RoboCop will throw down with you. He a cop that'll throw hands, you know what I'm saying? He ain't reaching for the pistol. RoboCop will throw hands. You know what I'm talking about? He one of them cops. So with that being said, I think Christian Leroy Duncan is a tremendous striker. He might not have the power, the thud, you know what I'm saying, that RoboCop lands with, because RoboCop looks like he's throwing cinder blocks at you, you know what I'm saying? And when he lands, it hurts. So he doesn't have that power that RoboCop has, but at the same time, Christian Leroy Duncan, in my opinion, is by far the more skilled striker. By far has more setups, more traps that he does on the feet for his opponents. Now, I would also say what I don't like about his game is I think he spams too many spin kicks and crazy kicks. It's almost like he spams these kicks to kind of let his opponent know, hey, come in the pocket if you want, but you come a little bit too close, you might get hit with one of these. And I think that messes up his gas tank. So I would hope that he's corrected that. But I think if this fight stays on the feet, I got Christian all day to go out there and get the win because he's the more skilled striker. And skillfully, I think he can maintain some sort of a distance to not get caught by one of those powerful thuds of Gregory Rodriguez. With that being said, man, I think I'm going to go along. I think I'm going to go along with CLD to get the win. But if RoboCop wants to lean completely into his grappling, it's going to be a tough night. Tough night, and it won't be a long night. Because, Rodriguez will go out there and submit you early. It won't be a long night for Christian, but it's going to be a rough night. But I think I think that CLD is going to be able to keep it standing and be able to pick him off at range with shots. Let me just check something here real quick. Um, let's see. Checking this in real time. Yeah, it's what I thought. He's got the reach advantage over RoboCop. So I'm going to go along with CLD to get the win. Let's move on. We have Arnold Allen stepping in there with Giga Chikadze. Man. Mm, hmm. This is also something weird because as I was placing bets on this fight on DraftKings, shout out to DraftKings, holla at me. Please holla at Matter of Fact MMA. Go on and sponsor me now. Let's have a brand deal. Let's have a partnership right now. You need to get in on the ground level because your boy is coming. Nevertheless, when I was making a bet on this fight, they had Giga Jikadze listed as questionable. So I'm not sure if what's going on there, if he's still going to fight this Saturday or if he's being pulled out. According to the UFC's website, at this moment, he is still showing as the opponent for Arnold Allen. Nevertheless, I got Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen, in my opinion, has better stamina, better gas tank. I think that while Jikadze is more skilled on the feet, Arnold Allen has got that dog in him, and he can take a shot. He can take multiple shots. And so I think that Jikadze is by far the more skilled striker. But I think that when you're talking about in MMA, in the octagon, I think that Arnold Allen is going to fare better on the feet than Jikadze. I think if you're talking about going to the ground, I think Allen is beating him in wrestling, scrambling, top pressure, submission. I think he's got all of those in his favor. If the fight stands on the feet, in my opinion, Arnold Allen, when I say he's got that dog in him, he's got that dog, like, that dude's got a chin on him. He can take some punishment, and he's got a gas tank. And so, in my opinion, even if Jikadze is lighting him up on the feet, I don't think Jikadze is going to be able to get him out of there before his gas tank is zapped from throwing all of those heavy kicks and heavy shots and Chikadze kicks and so Giga kicks. So in my opinion, I think that Arnold Allen would be able to outlast him on the feet, and that's where he could win this fight. Because I think that Chikadze's gas tank is a little bit sus, in my opinion. So I got Arnold Allen to go out there and get the win. Let's move on. We have Nathaniel Wood stepping in there with Daniel Pineda. I got Nathaniel Wood all day. I think a lot of people sleep on Nathaniel Wood at featherweight, and I think he could definitely be something. So I got him. Next, we got Molly McCann. Meatball, but she's not much of a meatball anymore because she's looking slim, trim, and ripped up. It's strawweight. Molly McCann stepping in there against Bruna Brazil. Man, I'm going to go along with Molly McCann in this. Molly McCann at strawweight, I think, is a different animal. She looked tremendous in her last fight. Her striking looked tremendous. It looked sharp, but also Molly McCann, she got that dog in her. And Molly McCann, if you challenge her on the feet, bro, Molly McCann will oblige you. You know what I'm talking about? And at strawweight, she's got that power. She's got that thud to her shots that in I think long-term fights, we've seen Molly McCann get worked and take L's in higher weight classes. But at strawweight, I think she's got that tiger, that eye of the tiger in her. She's rejuvenated. And I think her striking was a lot more crisp, a lot more poised in her last fight. And I feel like that power that she carries at strawweight, that she can get these women out of there before the fight becomes a long fight, before it becomes a 3-round fight where she's more prone to taking an L. Bruna is no slouch. Bruna is coming off of a loss. Molly McCann coming off of a win. Bruna lost to Labume. But I still got McCann to go out there and get the win. And it's hard to beat, even though she has lost, of course. Still, a motivated Molly McCann, this new, sharp, crisp, striker at strawweight, Molly McCann. I think she'll do her thing in front of the Manchester crowd. So I got Molly McCann to get the win. Next, we have Jake Hadley stepping in, I believe, on short notice against Loughran. Kyolin Loughran. I'm going to go along with Loughran on this one. I don't think Jake Hadley, I don't think he's that guy at bantamweight. I don't think that's really his weight class. I don't really think he's that guy. I'm looking, it looks like at the moment he is the favorite to win the fight, but I'm actually going to go along with Loughran on this one. Hadley jumped in on this one, I believe, short notice. And if I'm wrong, this would totally mess up my pick. But I believe he's stepping in short notice. And I just don't think that weight class is the right fit for him. I'm going to go along with Loughran to get the win there. Next, we have Modestas Bukauskas. If I probably totally probably messed up the homie's name. No disrespect to that man. He's stepping in there against Marcin Prachnio. I'm actually going to go along with Marcin here. I think he's kind of a sleeper. He's never going to be a contender. He's never going to be that dude in the division. But he's a guy that pulls off upsets. And I'm actually going to lean towards him. I liked his striking that he did in his last fight against Devin Clark. I would have liked to have seen him look a little bit better against Devin Clark, but nevertheless, I don't think that Modestas is the same fighter that he was before he sustained that horrific knee injury. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to lean toward Marcin to get the win. It's a good underdog pick for everyone. I don't know. Something is telling me that he's going to be able to go out there and get the win. Next, we have Oban Elliott stepping in there against Preston Parsons. I got Preston Parsons all day. I think he's the more skilled fighter and the more well-rounded fighter. Then we have Muhammad. God, this card is kind of looking a little stacked. Little brick house, a little stacked. We got Muhammad Makayev stepping in there against Manel Kopp. I got Manel Kopp. I think Makayev is that dude, but I think Makayev has a lot that he needs to learn on the feet. And a lot of his entries on takedowns against a very, very tricky, extremely fast fighter like Manel Kopp, and I think Kopp's going to have the speed advantage. I think Kopp eats him alive. I think he's going to eat a lot of those takedown entries that Makayev tries. I think that Kopp is so tricky with the knees. I think he will catch this man coming in, because as the fight continues, in my opinion, I think Makayev gets very lazy, very, very much a slouch on a lot of his entries on takedowns, and I think Manel Kopp will be able to take advantage. So I got Manel Kopp getting the win. Next, we have Sam Peterson stepping in there against Kiefer Crosby. I got Sam Peterson on that one. I think he's going to be able to get the job done. We have Mick Parkin, trains with the interim heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall, stepping in there against Lucas Brzezinski. Man, come on, bro. I think Mick Parkin has got that. I think his constant training with Tom Aspinall is only going to up his game, up his level. I think he's by far the more skilled fighter than Brzezinski. So I got Mick Parkin going out there and get the win. And then finally, we have Shauna Bannon, who is in here against a short notice fighter, being Alice Adernlin. Alice coming in on short notice. Right now, according to what I'm seeing in the odds, she is the favorite, but I'm not sure if that fight is that equal. No, I don't think Shauna Bannon is really good at all. I don't really think she's that good. I think the UFC, and I think the UFC thinks she's good looking. They want a new Irish fighter, and what better than an Irish female fighter? But I don't really think that she's the best. You know what I'm saying? She ain't Rose. I'm the best. I don't think she's that. Man, even though Alice is coming in short notice, man, I'm going to fade Shauna Bannon. I'm not saying Alice is really that good, but I'm going to fade Shauna. I don't think Shauna's really that good. I'm going to fade her. I think that's somebody the UFC tried to put some juice behind because for whatever reason they feel like she's good looking, and I think they feel like that that she might have been something in the Irish market. But I don't know if she's really that good. I might be totally wrong here. She might go out here and wax Alice. But I think Alice is going to get the win there. So that is UFC 304 going down in Manchester in the UK this Saturday night. Very interesting. I got Leon Edwards in the main event. I got Tom Aspinall in the co-main event. And the other huge fight on the card, I got King Green to go out there and get the win. So we will see how it all plays out. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know your picks on 304. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about Tom Aspinall winning? Do you think he ever gets the Jones fight? I don't think that he does. But what do you think? Also, what do you think about Leon Edwards versus Bilal Hammad? I really appreciate everyone that clicks on these videos and watches them. I'm just a regular dude from Louisville, Kentucky, who has a passion and really likes MMA. So I really want to thank anyone that ever clicks on these videos, and I really appreciate that. And I do want to thank everyone for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.